Okay, so in brackets, uh, this is the contact form, and let's see. Oops. So here they are side by side, and so here is an H1. So that is your H1. I changed the font family to sans serif, but when you get this in the email, you'll see that the H1 down here for this title going across that says responsive HTML5. It doesn't even have a style yet. So I just gave it a style of sans serif for the font. So use whatever font that you're using in your design so it matches. And then the wrapper is basically the actual size that goes all the way around, and you see it set to auto. So it is automatically centered in this example, but you don't have to center it in your example. And then 47 pixels from the top, so you can make that whatever you want. So I just pushed it down. So I made it 80, I pushed it down. Then the contact form itself here. So this border radius is giving a little slight radius to the inputs. So if I change this to a bigger number, and not really seeing it, but see how the corners are rounded? That's the border radius. And then the background is set to just like an off-white, but you can change this to, if I change it to pink. Oh, and actually the contact form itself is this space. So let me change that to border radius again. I don't know why you're not seeing it. But anyways, let's see here. There you go. So you got the contact form, which is another container for all the inputs. So these are your inputs. And then your label is the information up here: name, city, phone, email. That's your label. Your inputs is the information inside. So the text inside. You can change, I'll change like the fields now are light cyan. There's no style set for the font, but you can change that if you want. You can change the width of this as well. So if I make it 40%, now I have smaller fields. I would just keep it big though. And then the button right here is this button down below. So I've already played with it a little bit, so when you get it, it's going to be orange. But there's a gradient, and the gradient is under background right here where it says gradient. So I made the top pink, but you can do whatever you want.
What's the WebKit? It says background WebKit gradient. What is the WebKit?
So the WebKit is a prefix. So whenever you see WebKit or Moz is for Firefox. WebKit is for Chrome. So these are prefixes that are used where you're using any type of special feature. But a lot of times,
And it'll appear on those specific browsers.
yeah, and it's meant as a fallback. So let's say Chrome was not using box shadow, this box shadow property. Well, using the prefix will help ensure that Chrome will use it. So these are, what you could say is that these are like beta features that the browser hasn't implemented yet. They're not made standard, but they still exist. But most of these features should be available now. And I think in the last class, we went to that website that showed you if the feature is available. So I think here the form, like if I took out, if I commented out, see it says border radius here, but let me see if I comment this out. Down here, this one as well. See how it still works? So if I change this border radius to 5, you know, it works. If I change it to 15, it works. So even I'm in Chrome, so Chrome will let you use border radius. It doesn't care. So if I sent this to you without this information, everything should still work. But it's like it's an override too. So if I get rid of those comments and hit save, it goes back to 4 because I'm using the WebKit prefix for Chrome, and that's going to be the default that it goes to. You know, so if I make this 14 or 15, I get that full roundedness again. But if I delete it and I save it, it doesn't matter because border radius is now standard for Chrome. So I cut and pasted this from an older document. You know, had this form for like several years. So it was using the WebKits. A lot of times in the class, I've been taking the WebKits, the prefixes out, and you haven't been seeing them a lot of times. But that's what those are for. They're basically fallbacks to utilize code features that haven't been fully certified by the browsers yet, you know, by the different organizations that support the browsers or the different companies. So Chrome is Google's browser, Firefox is Mozilla's browser, and then you'll see too also for sometimes you'll see this for Microsoft as well for Explorer, you know, but their browser is up to date too. So that's what that is. You see here, there's this example Microsoft Gradient, because I think there was a time where gradients weren't available in Microsoft Explorer, which isn't even around anymore. So like if you get rid of this, it's not going to do anything. It only cares about really this one, background. And again, if you get rid of WebKit and you get rid of this background here, it's not going to hurt it. So what you have to do sometimes if you do see these WebKits is just kind of either delete them. Like for example, if I want to clean it up, I can get rid of this filter. And this is for the hover too. So when I hover over this, see how it changed color from green, blue to orange, white? It's because I have a gradient that goes right here in this background. And see how this filter has the same numbers here? Because basically it's the fallback for Microsoft. But if I get rid of this, it still works, right? And then even if I go even further, if I get rid of this one, and if I get rid of the WebKit, actually, I guess it didn't. I guess it still wants to use this WebKit here, but so if you get rid of some of those prefixes, it should be okay. But yeah, it's a matter of kind of going through the CSS here and then changing the code based on what you can see here. So the boxes have a slight shadow, you can barely see it. It's like this inset shadow effect. And then the button changes when you hover over it. But all this can be adjusted, so you can play with this. What's most important though is when you get into the HTML and for the form, so there's a couple things that have to happen for the form to work. So you need to have these IDs set. So you don't want to play with the IDs. You don't want to change the IDs. You have to make sure that you have this method set to post. You need to make sure that this action is set to insert.php. Because what happens is with the form, so you have a form tag, and inside the form tag are your fields, and your fields are designated with an input. So each field has an input. So if you look, all these fields where you enter information, these are your inputs. And that's what these are right here. Input for your name, for the city, for the phone number, for the email. And what these correspond with is this PHP document, which is here under the form tag with the action attribute. So the way it works is the very last input is a button, and the button has a value of send. So this is your button, and when you click on that button, it basically activates the form, and it will activate this action of insert.php. So clicking on the button activates this action up here, and then it will post the information you put in the fields. And it calls this action, which is basically calling up the form, which you would upload to the server using your FTP tool, using Dreamweaver. So if we look at the form, here we can look at it in Dreamweaver. So when you click that button, it submits, the information, and you see here you have variables that correspond with the different items in that form. So the different inputs each had an ID. So you had an ID of name, an ID of city, an ID of phone, and an ID of email. And then under 2, this is where the form is getting sent. So when you get this PHP file, I send it to you in the email. Change this name for the 2 variable, change the email to your email. And then you also want to change it down here as well under this little if statement. And basically what happens is once the action occurs where the form is being posted, this if statement will run. It will look for this information. If you have a variable for the 2, the subject, the message, and the headers, it will go ahead and send this information down here in an email that's posted in this 2 variable. Otherwise, if you don't, it will say error. You can create whatever error you want, and it'll give you that error. So I have it set up here. So this is my Alta Vista site. And right here. So here's the form. So if you go to logolab.altavista.org and you fill out this information, and actually I'll send it to you in the chat, so you can actually send me something to see, to show that it actually works. So if you go to this website, this is the Alta Vista site that I created last week, and now here I'm just kind of fill in nonsense, because there's no, in this PHP document, it's very simple, and there's no error checking. So I'm not going to get into all the details of PHP, but you could have a PHP form that would check to make sure that I am putting in a proper phone number, and that I am putting in a proper email. But really all the form cares about is that these fields are filled in. So I hit send, and my internet's a little slow. It says email sent, and then if I go into an email, this it actually sprang up. It says hi. So that was the message too. So here the message, the from message will be hi, but you can change this to whatever you want, and I'll do that in a second. But if I go into my Gmail, it's right here. So it's giving me a warning too. It's because I sent multiple versions, so now it's saying it's spam. It can't verify the source, but that's okay, because I know it's from me. But see how the information is being carried through. But if you put this on your landing page and people go to that Alta Vista site, then you can start to get contact information from people. So this here has to be uploaded, and when you upload it via FTP, so here is my FTP for Dreamweaver, there's that form, insert PHP. You just make sure you drag it over and you throw it onto the folder here, and it will upload. It's connecting. You hit yes in the dialog box that opens up. It's asking you if you want to include dependent files, but there are no dependent files, meaning there's no images or anything in the HTML or the PHP. So that's fine, and now it's uploaded. So I sent you guys the PHP file in another email as well. So all you have to do with the PHP file, once you get that email, you just copy the PHP, and then in brackets, paste it, and then save it. But when you save it, the name has to match this name right here for the form action attribute. So it has to be called insert.php. If this is called anything else, then the form's not going to be able to find it. And once I save this, so this is, let's see. So once I save this to insert.php in brackets, then ignore this error message, but then I get all of my code highlighting for the code, the helper information in brackets that shows me that the code is in blue, and then all my strings, so anything in a quote, that's called a string, that's in orange, and then all of my other code is in black. But I still get that color coding once I save it as a .php file. So the brackets will recognize .php files along with HTML and CSS. But once you do that and you save it, then you can upload it. And when you upload it, because the form itself, if I look, let me go back into here actually. If I look under this action, it's not inside a folder, so you could have it inside scripts, / meaning there's a scripts folder, but here it's at the same level as the index.html. So that's why when you upload it, if you look in, if you look on the remote server, you have the index.html and you have the insert.php at the same level. So it has to be able to find that insert.php. So you have all the files for this now. So for your landing page, you just got to copy the code out of the index.html and then save a separate insert.php file, and then just make sure you upload it. So I was asking before we started, I just want to make sure now, I asked Jackie, but everybody else, have you guys gotten an Alta Vista site?
Yeah.
Is that Jason?
Yeah. Sorry. Yeah.
Well, it sounded like a lawnmower in the background. Uh,
Yes.
uh, so did everybody? Let's go through the list. Felicia, did you get an Alta Vista site?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay. I mean, it's really easy. So I just want to make sure everybody got it without a problem. Jason, you got one?
Yeah. I got it up and running.
And what is yours called?
Um, it's all the tea, like ALL, the tea and tea like the tea you drink.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And have you uploaded anything yet to it?
No, it was literally I just activated it from Alta Vista.
Okay. And Hanaya, have you gotten an Alta Vista site yet?
Not yet.
Okay. And then Jackie, you got yours. What was yours called again?
Botanical flora.
Okay. And then when you were trying to get one, did you actually
Oh,
did it?
I activated it already last night.
Okay.
They sent me the username and password like last night or the night before. Forgot
Oh,
when.
good. Okay.
So
So
it's just a little bit of a delay.
okay, good. So I'm glad because you were saying that since you decided not to commit to their requests, they had a couple requests for you to, send you a newsletter or something and use you for their data testing, but you said no to all those things, but it still worked, right?
Yes.
So okay, I just want to make sure. Okay, so and then for the ones that actually created the Alta Vista site, did you try out the FTP feature in Dreamweaver, or are you going to try a different FTP tool, like FileZilla or something? Have you tried the FTP tool? Um, and let me show you FileZilla. I have FileZilla here too, so it's something else that I use besides Dreamweaver. This is what. But as I'm showing you this, has everybody tried a FTP tool?
Cyberduck is the
Yeah.
So Jackie, you tried it when Jason, Hanaya, Felicia, have you tried using an FTP type tool?
Is Cyberduck
No.
one?
I'm sorry.
Is Cyberduck F?
Oh yeah, okay. Like there's one called CyberDuck. Um, yeah, I mean if there's other ones out there, go ahead. They all work the same way. So here is FileZilla. So again, you have on your left side, this is representing the files on my computer. The right side is the remote site. Then you have a server area up here. And when you start it up, you have your host, username, password, port, which is 21. I already have something set up here, so it's reconnecting to the server. And then I think this is in Bangladesh, the server. It's a company that I work with during the day, and then you just drag the files from here into your other side, and vice versa. If I want to bring files here into their server, I drag it from the left to the right. So that's FileZilla, but it works the same way. So Dreamweaver is the same way. It's going to all these services ask you for the same information. You need your FTP site, you need your password, you need your login, and you're saying somebody said that CyberDuck is one, right? So here's CyberDuck. So there's a lot of different ones out here. So that's the process, though. And then once you get used to using these tools, it's pretty easy. But nobody had any problems then using. I just want to make sure you guys are good with Alta Vista, and it sounds like you are. Jason, how did it go? I saw that email that you sent a request for Creative Cloud. Did you get any response?
Not Not yet, but it's been a lot of back and forth with Adobe people and like they they gave me a lot of like suggestions, but like none of them worked. So I'm just gonna wait on see if the help desk returns.
Okay. I mean, I don't know. Has anybody else? I know when it worked for you. Did anybody else have any difficulties getting the Creative Cloud? Because I think it. So I mean, how did it work for you? Do you have any advice for Jason at all to help him with Adobe? I don't know.
I just logged into my to the school email. I logged into Adobe Cloud using my school email, and everything was just there.
Oh, okay, and it
Yeah.
just worked. Jason? Are you using the school email?
Yeah, I'm using my Pasadena account.
Okay. Well, let us know if it doesn't work with the Adobe rep. Then I can talk to the dean, um, Dean Rognax, and see if she has any advice because she's the one who sent me
Uh-huh.
the instructions. And let's figure out first what if Adobe says when they return. Um, but when you
Yeah, okay.
for your FTP tool, I would go ahead and get FileZilla
Sure.
or CyberDuck, and they're both fairly self-explanatory. You can use the same directions. Get the information from Alta Vista
Mm-hmm.
and then
Mm-hmm.
fill in that information. Um, okay, so what I want to do now is
Okay.
um, so yeah, we'll figure it out. Either way, we'll figure it out. Um, I just want to go over this quick presentation now on what PHP is, and we're not going to really go over the actual code, and we're not going to go through the process of coding in PHP because there's just not enough time. But I just want you to know what it is and have you understand the history behind it. And like I said, for the contact form, just cut and paste that PHP code that I've given you, change the email to your email, make sure the name matches the action in the HTML, and then you have a contact form, and it works. So it works pretty good. But what PHP stands for, it was originally an acronym for personal homepage, but now it stands for PHP Hypertext Processor, which is confusing because the first word of the acronym is the acronym. So it's what you would call a recursive acronym, which makes no sense. But it was invented by Rasmus Lerdorf in 1994. So slightly a little bit after HTML was developed by Timothy Berners-Lee. Rasmus Lerdorf came up with PHP, and basically it was just for him to create a resume. That was his initial thought, that he was going to use this for his resume in the very beginning. But as it was developed, so it was basically a tool to track visits to his online resume. But as it was developed, it basically grew into a tool that you can use for anything that will take user input and send that information either to a database or back to back into like an email or other type of feedback that you can get information from people visiting the website. So basically, this was the announcement that he made in 1995. So this was on a user group called InfoSystems. So basically announcing to the world that he's developed this tool. I think he was probably in his 20s. He was just kind of a kid when he came up with this. He's probably in his 40s now. Um, but he was young, but basically coming up with this type of code. So here are different reasons why you should use it. So basically, PHP is free. It can interact with different languages. So MySQL is a database type language where you can start to store data. So let's say you have a shopping cart, any type of form, trying to get information, data from customers. Social media sites use this as well. So PHP is the means to deliver the information, and MySQL is how the information is stored. Both are compatible with what's called Apache, the Apache server. So PHP and MySQL, they don't reside on your computer. They are server side, meaning when you upload your code to Alta Vista, PHP only works on the server. So the server will oftentimes use Apache as their server type software to utilize PHP. So sometimes you'll sign up for a host, and you just got to make sure that they utilize PHP and MySQL if you want to take advantage of this. But most sites do use it now, so that's something you don't have to worry about most of the time. And it's pretty universal, runs on Windows, Linux, Unix, very accessible, and there's a lot of online documentation. So if you do want to learn more, just go to this link, and it will take you through the process of how to use PHP. But like I said, it's free, and if you want to start creating your own PHP scripts, this is a good place to go. You can also go to lynda.com, and that has a lot of information, a lot of different online classes you can take to learn PHP. So this is the form that I sent you guys, and what PHP needs to work is basically everything within this tag. So you have this tag, it's $PHP. So that tells the server that you're using the PHP code, and it helps identify the document as PHP. And so you have this PHP tag, and what PHP does, it parses the file, and it's looking for the opening and closing tags for this. This basically tells when the server should start to interpret the code within that tag. So the other thing to look for is $post. So that's the code that basically tells PHP it's a variable. It's also what you'd call like a universal variable or a super global variable, and that tells the code that you're collecting information that's assigned to that variable. So anything with a $ in PHP as well is a variable. So that's used to pass information from whatever associated with the IDs in those inputs in the HTML. It gets associated with this post variable in the PHP, and then that information is sent over. And then another bit of code to look for is echo. So echo is basically what allows a PHP to send information back to the web page. So if you looked in this example that we had earlier, let's see where it's. If I go back here to the form, if I fill out some information, doesn't care, it's just gobbledygook. But once I hit that, give it a couple seconds, the echo command right here, you see it, I have two where it says email sent and error. That's what is sent back, and that's what you see on the screen after it's sent. Oops. My internet's going slow, so hold on. So email sent is what that echo command is sending back. So if I go into this form, this is the code that I sent you guys. Instead of email sent, you can say whatever you want. Thank you for signing up. And remember how we talked about landing pages? So that's typically what a landing page is going to do. It's going to give you a thank you. You could also send back HTML, send back a nicer looking web page, and have this some CSS apply to this. But if I change that here to thank you, also just for fun, instead of from hi, you can say something like new user has signed up. And that's basically the subject line of the email. So I'm going to save this. And it's saved in Dreamweaver. It's saved where the files reside within my documents folder here. So it's been saved here, and now I'm going to drag it over to the left, and this is the server at Alta Vista. And it doesn't matter if you can hit no too. I usually hit yes. The little arrow tells me that it's being uploaded. So that new PHP code with these changes are now being uploaded. And now if I go back into this form, and I'll refresh the browser here, and then I'll fill it out again. So now when I hit send this time, give it a couple seconds, it's going to change the message. So now it says thank you for signing up, because I changed this echo command, which prints to the screen, to thank you for signing up. And then this is being sent to my Gmail. So that's the other part that's important. So make sure you change this to variable to your email. So I'm going to look here in my Gmail, right here. So see how this says message sent using your contact form? It's because I changed that line over here in the subject to message sent using the contact form. Oh, and then if I click on this, actually, let me see something. Which one it is? I've done it so many times now. Oh, right here. So where it says a new user, I'm sorry, a new user has signed up, in that subject line, it's right there. So where it says a new user signing up, that's that information that's right here. And yeah, too, it gives you well, yeah, so there, yeah. So that's it. So basically, that's how you guys can have a contact form on your website. So I want you to use this for the landing page. Does anybody have any questions? So it's pretty straightforward. You know, try it. Maybe you could try it with your Alta Vista site first, upload this as your index.html. Upload this as well. Just change this $2 to your email, and then see how it works when you upload it to the FTP. You go to the web page that you created, fill in the form, hit send, and then check your email, and then you should have a message come back. And you can try it in the chat as well if you want to send me a message through that logo love website. So that's all in terms of like code. That's all I wanted to show you guys today. Just this. Do you have any other questions about anything else? So basically, if you finish your gallery assignment, I know a lot of people are still working on it, and that's fine. But if you finish that gallery assignment, just work on the landing page. And the landing page is just one single page. And include the contact form. And it's supposed to be for a special cause of some sort. Does anybody have any sketches of their landing pages that they want to show?
I do.
Okay, so who has something that we can look at?
I do.
So I submitted mine on Canvas.
Okay, and so who's that? Jackie and Chris. So let me see. Let me go to Canvas and let's see what you guys have submitted, and then other students can kind of see what you have and then understand the by looking at yours. So let's look. So let's see. Okay. Oh, cool. Okay. So Jason. So, all right. So this is yours. So what is your yours is about tea. Let's talk about what you're landing.
No, like plain tea. Like it's like if you like right now in the culture, there's a lot of people they like to go to people's old like tweets or something and then be like, oh, like you said this thing 7 years ago, like you're a bad person or something.
Okay.
But the problem is, sometimes, there's a lot of information in tweets and posts to sort through. So like the business is kind of like, it can do it automatically for you.
Also, like a background check sort of thing.
Not that personal. It's just stuff that you post on your social medias. It's like
To see if
maybe
you're
embarrassing stuff that you forgot about, and then like.
Oh.
Is that an actual expression, like spill the tea?
Yeah. So tea, like meaning like all the, because tea is hot, so like, all the spicy stuff.
So if you spill the tea, that means you said something that you didn't mean to say, but it's out there now, and the world can see it. Is that the idea?
Yeah, it's like the tea has been spilled. Yeah.
Who are these? Is that Elon Musk?
Yeah, because he says a lot of stuff. He says a lot of stuff. So yeah, that would be a good example. Yeah.
And then basically you would enter in a profile.
Yeah.
But how does it give you like the juicy stuff? Like, or does
Well, I was thinking either like, it would just like go through a profile and just like kind of like maybe a string search, like, oh, like you enter a profile and then you want to see if if Elon Musk has ever said anything about flamethrowers. So you enter the keyword flamethrowers and then it kind of just does a really quick string search. And then that would kind of be like I think that would be kind of how it works. It's not perfect, but that's how I think it would be.
so you have another word down here that would be keyword, maybe?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Jason,
Yeah, go ahead.
you should add Tumblr because people say dumb stuff on Tumblr.
Oh, yeah. The thing
So
with
much.
Tumblr, I would like to do it, but I know it's a lot of images. So I'm considering how to do it with like images because it's hard to like if someone is only putting like image posts on Tumblr, then like how do you spill the tea? But like
Right.
I think Google, you can like image search, like you like
yeah,
upload a photo and then like they'll search, I don't know, something like that.
that's a good idea actually.
Yeah.
What would be interesting is maybe it's almost like you would need artificial intelligence because anytime a celebrity does something like that, where they say something that is controversial, basically you have news stories that surround it.
Yeah.
So if Elon Musk is insulting, like remember when he insulted the guy who rescued those children in the cave?
Yeah, in Thailand. Yeah,
Yeah, it was like
exactly.
geez, why would you say that to this guy? You're this billionaire, and you're insulting this guy who's supposed to be a hero. Because the guy who saved the children thought Elon Musk was ridiculous because Elon Musk wanted to invent these like submarines that would go into the cave and get the kids and bring them back. And then I guess it hurt his ego. But maybe if there's a news story, like it aggregates, and then if there is an aggregated story, maybe it somehow gets the tweets associated with aggregated stories. Because then you have, journalists writing all these stories now about that Twitter storm that Elon Musk had with the cave rescuer. Um, but yeah,
Yeah, I would like to incorporate like so anybody can just do a simple search, a stream search for free. That's the like the top part, and then the sign up now. Like I was thinking, like you can just have a database of all these aggregate stories, but then that's a paid model, so you have to pay to access that because maybe Elon Musk will delete that tweet later, but then we'll store it on our servers. And if you pay like a subscription, then you can access all this, all the stories about it and stuff.
yeah, wow, very, it's very like it's good. Something that you would have to hold people accountable. I
But
guess.
technical wise, I was just trying to figure out how do you make like, below the fold, it's like this background image and it's like, you see how it's kind of blurred?
Right.
Like I was wondering how you would do that on like with photo editing.
Oh, I mean, well, so you're still waiting to get Photoshop, right? Um,
Yeah.
but you could probably do it in GIMP. Are you using GIMP?
Yeah, I used to use GIMP too, so I just forgot the process. I think it was if you make a dark layer and then you just kind of blend it in, then it gives you this kind of effect.
I mean, in Photoshop, it's just a Gaussian blur. It's just a filter. Um,
Okay, yeah.
yeah, you just use the Gaussian blur filter.
I
Um,
use that for like vignetting and stuff.
yeah, so here, I mean, here's an alternator, which is not that exciting, but yeah, if I wanted to blur it, I'd just use a Gaussian blur.
Over the whole thing.
Yeah, over the whole
Okay.
thing. You know,
Yeah.
in CSS, uh, there is a blur background uh, property. Um,
Oh, really?
so here is the example.
Oh, yeah.
And let's see. Right here. So you actually have filters in CSS, so you can use this filter blur, and I believe there's
Yeah.
another one as well. So, um, that's one of them.
That's
You know,
cool.
and that is cool because what you could do with that is if you hover over, let's say, an image, then maybe you can apply hover to it, and then, when you're hovering over it,
Yeah.
it's blurry. When you're not hovering over it, it's not blurry. So I'll send this in the chat. But yeah, there's a lot of filters now, which is something really, really didn't get into. But there are filters in CSS that will let you do a lot of things, and then it's non-destructive, right? So you do have this. I think there's one that works by making things black and white. So yeah, you got a grayscale one, but here are the different filter functions. So you use filter, and then after the colon, you can say blur, brightness, contrast, drop shadow, grayscale, change color. So it's pretty cool what you can do. And let's look at hue rotate, for example. So yeah, this example, I think it would be better if they showed examples with hovers so you can actually see the change. But here, if I take it out, you can actually take this out. And then run it. That's what it looked like originally, and then I don't remember what it was, but filter hue rotate. Yeah, so you can do that. So here's the link, and this is the link for the. I just sent it to you via chat.
Okay, thanks. Yeah.
Yeah, but those are cool little features because it's non-destructive. So yeah, this is a cool idea. So at least you can use the actual form.
Exactly.
What I would include, though, is some information about what it is in more detail.
Okay, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I did not know that spilling the tea meant that. I don't know how many of you guys knew that, but I was not aware of that term. But I don't know if I'm too old to understand these things. So anyways.
It's pretty new, so like it's understandable.
Yeah, okay, cool. All right, who else has something? Let's see.
I do. I didn't upload it on the comments though.
Oh, okay. Let's see.
I got a question. How can the idea be like nonsensical?
Sure.
Yeah, because mine is pretty nonsensical.
Like when you say nonsensical,
like highly unrealistic. I know it's fiction. Is a fiction. It's yeah, it's pretty it's a little unrealistic, but it's an idea I just came up with that'd be kind of cool, but highly realistic.
Yeah, did you send me? I see here a screenshot. PNG. Oh, here it is.
Was that me?
For some reason, it's like this is a screenshot. So I don't.
Oh,
think...
that.
Oh no! Sorry, that was me. When I tried to log into the Adobe Creative Cloud, it literally gave me this error.
Oh. Okay.
Yeah, it's completely unrelated. Sorry.
Oh, so do you have a sketch to show us what you're talking about?
Hang on, let me send it. I didn't upload it on Canvas, but I can send it through. I have the wireframe.
Oh, okay.
All the content.
Yeah, I want to see what your nonsensical idea is. I like this. I like the idea, though.
Excuse me. Oh crap. Let me. It's not letting me setting. It's not letting me set it. It's not letting me set it. Setting it on the chat. So
You can send it to Discord.
Oh great.
But yeah, it doesn't have to be realistic at all. You know, if it's a weird idea, that's kind of fun to play with.
Okay, here's the wireframe.
Okay, cool. I see it here.
It's about wigs for like cosplayers.
For
Like one wig, and then it can change colors or length. So like cosplayers or like people that work in like films don't have to like spend so much money on multiple wigs.
Okay.
It's really dumb, but you know.
So you're saying that the wig itself would somehow either like the hair would grow or it would shrink depending on like so it's like this invention, right?
Yeah.
Invention that has some sort of adjustable
Yeah.
Maybe there's a way to do it in reality. Like maybe there is like a real product because maybe you can
I
pull.
think like I think it's similar to like it's this toy from like the early 2000s. Is it Cha-Cha-Chia?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, kind of like that. Kind of like that.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't thought of all the logistics yet.
So,
But
all right. Yeah,
it's I uploaded it on Discord.
yeah. Here it is. I got it on the. Does everybody see it? Does everybody see it here? When's a wireframe?
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think that's a cool idea. You should like it would put like the wig shop out of business. You ever
Yeah.
like, walk by a wig shop and there's like hundreds of wigs? But if you could make like an adjustable wig, that would be kind of a cool idea. So yeah, or maybe yeah, then yeah. So it doesn't have to be yeah, it could be nonsensical, but maybe there's something out there that actually works like that. If you think about it, um, you know, maybe there actually are adjustable wigs. Um, so maybe uh, I'm kind of I did a search. Did you do a web search for it?
No.
So you should do a search for adjustable wig. You might actually find that it does exist already. So, so no idea is too crazy for this. Um, but yeah, then put in the contact form information too. So that'd be interesting. What's interesting about this assignment is when you upload it to Alta Vista, to actually see if people will actually respond to it. And then if you wanted to, you could create a little mini social campaign. So, after you upload the Alta Vista site, then what you can do is you can create a Gmail account and pretend that it's for your business. And what would be your actual website name? What's the name of the website?
One wig to rule them all. That's
So,
one there.
so that would be your email. It'd be like one wig to rule them all at gmail.com, right? And then once you have your Gmail, then you can sign up for all your social media. You can get a Facebook page, you can get a Instagram page, get a Tumblr or whatever, your Twitter, and then you create social posts, and then it really gives the impression that you have a real business. Like if you were to start Spill the Tea, Jason, you can do the same thing. Yeah, and you can even, let's say you don't even have like the idea set. Let's say you don't know how to create the code for Spill the Tea, but it's a concept. What if you actually like created a funding page, like a GoFundMe, to make your website reality? Make your dream come true. So, anyways, I mean, that's something to think about after this. Yeah, this is how really startups start. To tell you the truth, like the idea may be crazy at first, but at the same time, you know, so maybe maybe it's not like a product per se, but maybe it's like a subscription service. So let's say you had a wig subscription service for cosplayers, and every month, you know, they pay $20, and then every month they get a new wig or something like that. So ideas to think about. So yeah, I think it's a cool idea. Does anybody have ideas then that they want to talk about that they don't have the sketch yet? Uh, uh, Jackie, what is your idea going to be? So just checking, who else has ideas? Felicia, do you have an idea? So just checking to see if
Mine's is I was gonna do it on Google because I have a domain name through Google, so I kind of wanted to keep everything on the same platform. But since you did Ultra Vista, I did a dummy one that's it's lifestyle dot um, basically it's just lifestyle. And I would put some images on there about lifestyle.
What would be when you say lifestyle though? Just like general, like um, important things.
Well, I have a lifestyle blog on Instagram called Bubblegum Caviar. It's for those of us who have caviar taste on a bubblegum budget. And I deal with stuff that, things that improve your life but don't cost a lot of money. How to have fun either free or very inexpensively, how to improve your home, how to improve, the food that you eat in terms of cooking. If you can't afford to go out, you can do restaurant quality food at home, that
Oh,
kind of
okay.
thing.
That's a good idea then. I mean, if you have the Instagram account, what if you
Mhm.
actually had a landing page, and then what if you actually like decided to down the road eventually create some sort of like media hub, you know, like um, like what Gwyneth Paltrow, she has a site called Goop. Do you know that site?
Right,
And it's just like, she just made up this idea, right? And it turned into like a media empire, right? So what if bubblegum caviar was that as well? You know, um, you know what I mean? It's just like all you need is the idea, and then
right.
how many Instagram followers do you have?
I have about 250 somewhere in there.
Yeah, I mean, then you could start to advertise through Instagram and see if people actually sign up for the site, and then you could give more information, right? Because now you would have a website. First you have the landing page, then you see if you can grow the audience, and then if you actually
Right.
feel like, oh, I have like 200 people that are interested, maybe that's an opportunity to actually create a website that people would want more detailed information, because it's hard to give a lot of information in Instagram.
On Instagram, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so you start your own little like media empire. So that's cool. Yeah. So yeah, if you want to do it, yeah, that's great. Then you can keep the name too. That's
Yeah.
like bubblegum and caviar. So all right, uh, Hanaya, what do you have for your idea?
Uh, I'm still working on my gallery assignments, so I haven't done anything for this one yet.
Okay,
I don't know.
yeah, just finish the gallery, but you can still kind of think of the idea. Um, just in your head, you can kind of come up with something as you work on the gallery.
Mhm.
Um, so Jackie, what about you? What do you have?
I have the Botanical Flora, which is like a subscription service for different like plants and flowers.
Oh,
And I'm
that's
also
okay.
thinking of having kind of like a community-based element where people can like take online classes, like video classes of how to do like how to garden or like that kind of stuff.
Oh, that's a great idea. Um, you know why that idea is such a good idea is because there's so many, especially like where I live in Gardena, like
Hmm.
there are all these nurseries like all over the place, and you could actually start going to nurseries, especially I think nurseries aren't like um, affected by like the shutdown, right? I think most of them are still open. Like you can go and get flowers and stuff. I mean, if you go by yourself too, right? You're still like obeying the stay-at-home order.
Hmm.
That'd be cool because what you could do is you could basically use it as a service. Go and take a bunch of photos of the different flowers at different nurseries, um, and then post them to the site. And then people sign up to the landing page, and then you start to get clients who are interested. And there's actually a way to create subscription services as well.
Oh,
Have you guys heard of Patreon? Do you guys know Patreon at all?
I've heard of it.
yeah.
Yeah, Patreon is a good way for you to use your landing page, let's say. So basically, you sign up for Patreon, and if you have a product or an idea, especially where you're creating something, um, you can create these subscription services and then get like a little revenue stream, which is really cool. And they have different ones that you can sign up for. You could do a live stream one where you actually do a live like gardening show, which would be cool.
Yeah.
You know, so that landing page could work for that. Or you can do it on Twitch as well. I'm seeing more people. Do you guys know Twitch? Any Twitch
Well,
Twitch users? If you're a gamer, you know what Twitch is. But Twitch is kind of like
Do you want to give F and G Chen once again?
it's all live streaming. For gaming, like a popular thing right now is Bob Ross on Twitch. So, you can watch old Bob Ross episodes. A lot of people like play Dungeons and Dragons, but people have their shows. It's good for the lifestyle show too. Here's a baby emu farm, you know, live. So this is a great place to maybe create your landing page, but then maybe eventually it goes to sign up people, and then you direct them to sign up into Twitch. Here's a guy reading old comic books. That's pretty cool. Wow, this is interesting. So I think there's all sorts of good ideas. But yeah, the gardening one is a cool idea. That's very cool. So, all right, who else? Palin, what about you? Do you have an idea for the landing page?
Me?
Yes.
Landing page. No,
So it's the last assignment that I posted, where you basically create one web page for a landing page. You know.
I know I do.
So okay, well think about an idea, and
I
then
think you the picture. Yeah, I didn't finish.
so okay.
I will fill submit on I'll submit today.
Yeah, okay. See what you can come up with, and then do like the wireframe, and then use a form, right?
Okay, yes.
You know, the form that I sent everybody.
Okay, sorry.
All right. Yeah, I kind of like. This is one of my favorite assignments in a way, because it actually allows you to start thinking like in an entrepreneurial type way, and even if your idea seems crazy at first, maybe it will become, well, something real, you know, like a real business, you know. And it's almost like it's great to work on these things now, you know, if you have free time, it's great to think about this. So all right, so does anybody have any other questions then? Because this is kind of like a short class. Let me know if you guys want to meet with me, you know, either today or tomorrow or during the week. And then
can we meet like after class?
Yeah. So who wants to meet?
I want to meet it too.
So okay, Felicia, Hanaya, and then anybody else?
I think me as well.
So Jackie, is that you? Okay. Then let's do how about Felicia, I'll set up times. We'll meet like in half-hour increments, starting at 11, then 11:30, and then 11:30. So Felicia, how about 11? Does that work?
Yes, that works great.
And then Hanaya, how about 11:30?
That's great for me.
And then Jackie, how about at noon?
Okay.
Okay, then I'll send you guys Zoom meetings, and then I think everybody else is moving right along. And so if you do want to Zoom, let me know, and we can do it anytime. But other than that, I'm gonna close out the session, and then just keep on working on this assignment. And then next week, I'll introduce the final assignment, and for the final weeks of class, I'm going to get into more interactivity using jQuery. So we'll talk about jQuery. Gives you like a brief intro to JavaScript a little bit, but for the final weeks of the term, we'll get into more interaction, and your final assignment will be some sort of I'm thinking like some sort of gallery, personal gallery site that involves interaction in some way, where the users can like flip through your site, flip through images of some sort. So I'm still kind of thinking about that. So all right, okay, sounds good. Then Felicia, Hanaya, and Jackie, I'll send you your Zoom invites, and then I'll everybody keep on working on the landing pages. If you don't have ideas, send me ideas throughout the week. Otherwise, you know, get your Alta Vista site, you know, get the landing page all ready, and then we'll look at landing pages next Saturday. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank
Yep.
you.
Yep. Thank you. Okay. All right. Bye. Let's see here.
I'll
Oh.
I'll give you my landing page in the team today.
Oh, Palin.
Yes, yeah.
Oh, what did you want to do?
I will send you because my landing page didn't finish.
Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah. It's not supposed to be finished yet, but just send me an example of what it's going to look like.
Okay.
Okay, good. All
Just
right.
the landing page. Okay, I will send you.
Yes. Okay, good.
Didn't finish. But didn't finish.
Okay, great. All righty. Thank you.